It's 2 days before the archery season opener, and today's the day I try out the zip line. If everything works and I don't die, hopefully I'll be hunting from this stand in a couple of days. I've been wanting to try this since I was a little kid. I've been dreaming of this zip line into my deer stand, so here goes nothing. It's called Operation Condor. So here's the situation. In my whitetail column in Peterson's Hunting, I constantly write about how when you find the perfect place to put a stand through diligent scouting and finding the food source, and you finally hang a stand, you know it's a great stand. Why? Because deer come to it. Either they come to it, they're walking past it, or they congregate near it because there's a food source. So anytime you're not there, you're fully expecting for deer to be there with or without you. So I constantly write about how important it is to sneak to that stand, because I think one of the worst things you can do in the mornings or evenings is bump deer that are in there near your stand when you're walking in the morning. So I always talk about how to be sneaky getting there, having, you know, really good entry and exit points, whether that's a creek bed, a draw that hides you, a ridge, even using a rake to rake the leaves, because it's really tough to be silent in the fall woods to sneak to your stand undetected, but it's critical. So I have a situation here where I've located some good bucks at a known stand of mine. It usually produces, but this year was tricky. We've had a lot of rain here in Oklahoma. It flooded the oak bottom, and that's how I normally get to the stand. But even when it's dry, it's tough to get to silently anyway. So that's the problem. How do I get to the stand without being detected so I can kill the big buck? Well, I was thinking, how about a zip line? So my plan is, on opening day, October 1st here, I'm gonna sneak out my back door, go to the creek's edge, slither up the ladder on the stand over the creek, zip line approximately 208 yards, land like an angel on a cloud in my tree stand. And about that time, the sun should come up, the big buck should appear, and I'm gonna send a broadhead through his heart. And then I'm gonna dance around like a devilish imp and celebrate. You've heard the problem, here's the solution. It's called Operation Condor. Named after fellow Oklahoman, big air, hard crashing BMX star Matt Hoffman, it's the Condor. We're gonna do it safely though. I've ordered a ZipLine kit from ZipLine Gear, and you have to do some serious calculations, although I've boiled it down to this. We've got my tree to climb on the creek bank that's 20 feet above ground. I'm gonna zip line for approximately 208 yards using 3/8" cable with a brake installed to my tree stand here. I can get to my stand silently without spreading scent, and I don't even have to have a boat in times when it floods. And then I'm gonna arrow or shoot a giant buck. You see how big his antlers are there? I've got some on trail cam. So in real life, here's the situation. I'm gonna walk out from my house. Here's a big creek bank. Here is the tree I'm gonna climb to hang the zip line from. It's gonna go across the creek, across this big bottom that floods to my Millennium tree stand 208 yards away. This is a big ridge in an oak flat. I've seen several big bucks on trail cam down here. Totally wild, totally natural. I'm gonna zip line in, shoot the deer, in and out, nobody gets hurt. It's Operation Condor, baby. Let's go check out the zip line. So, of course you can go to Tractor Supply and buy you some cable and some clip-ons and duct tape, but yeehaw, you'll probably kill yourself. So I called a company called ZipLine Gear, and they consulted for me, because you actually have to have, according to the distance, there's a lot of weight. You gotta figure out the weight, the drop, the angle, the slope, all of this. It's a mathematical formula. But I bought this from them, so it was all packaged. A lot of short zip lines use a 1/4" cable or smaller. This is hefty 3/8" galvanized cable. It's expensive, but I think this, you probably don't want to get cheap on them, as they say, and that's pretty heavy. So it's going to take a team of people to help me do this, and somebody's probably going to be holding my beer. Anyway, look at that. That says, caution contains awesomeness. So here's all the stuff from ZipLine Gear. Let's see what we have. Here's a tree saver kit. Who cares about trees? Just kidding, we're hunters, we love trees. This goes around the tree so the cable over time doesn't dig into the tree and then you wouldn't be able to remove it. Any idiot can zip line at high speeds. I need to stop myself before I hit my tree stand or the tree 200 yards away. It's a brake hawk brake. It's just basically a brake pad that you manually pull down. And what I anticipate doing is drawing to a stop about midway to my stand and shooting one on the way. Turnbuckles, I should say. So once you get the cables fairly tight, you can get them even tighter with this. Cable locks, the U-bolts to secure the cables around the tree. This is a lanyard to suspend a harness to the carabiner. This is a top-end Petzl, it's called a trolley, and that's what actually goes on the cable and of course slides. And there's the heavy-duty carabiner. Stop block, that you put near the tree on the cable to, if everything goes wrong, it'll hit this and you'll just swing out a little bit rather than nailing the tree with your forehead. I paid extra for that. This is to help tighten the cable. Basically, you pull this and it ratchets the cable tight. Hey, and that's it. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send 3 bags, 150 pounds of corn down the zip line. So that'll be my crash test dummy, unless one of you cameramen want to do that. You want to? You put your life on the line for deer hunting. All right, let's do this. Well, it's gonna happen. The zip line, after months consternation and battling about 250 yards of 3/8 inch cable where only a couple people were hurt, it's finally hung, but now I have to hang the tree stands. I'm putting a ladder stand on the far end, and on the launch end, where I'll be way over the creek, I've got this 18-foot Millennium 366. It's 360-degree tree stand. This model is called the 366 because it's a ladder stand from Millennium. I'm gonna put this up because I'm anticipating hunting sometimes from the launch point stand. It's right on a creek trail, and so if I want to hunt from here, if I'm seeing action there, I can hunt in it. It'll be perfect. If it turns out that I want to zip line in to my premier stand, all I can do is take this thing off and put it on the ground or whatever, and just use this, climb up, and then use this as my zip line launching point. I can get around this big platform. Another thing that I really like about this Millennium is it's easy to put together. Well, I'm making one large leap for deer hunters everywhere. This is the Operation Condor zip line into your favorite tree stand, kill a buck project. All right, well, here goes nothing. But before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Criswell Funeral Home and Band-Aid. Really appreciate the support. I am taking my rifle in case I see a hog. And don't worry though, it's unloaded. I'm gonna wear my safety glasses. Anyway, here goes. ZipLine DeerStand trial run, take 1. Oh shit. Well, take number 1 of zip line into my deer stand and kill a big buck ended in complete disaster. It was like Wile E. Coyote in a puff of smoke. Hell, I'm lucky to be alive, and frankly, I found out it was pretty foolish. I don't have a death wish. I'm not trying to teach people bad examples here. I was honestly, it's always been my dream to get to my tree stand quietly, easily, quickly in the mornings, and it's always been my dream to zip line in, kill a big buck. I really thought I could do it there. Every indication I had, the formulas that I did looked good. I learned two things, and I didn't anticipate two things. Number one, I was using my deer harness because I thought it's easy. I'm wearing this all the time. All I have to do is put it on the mornings, go up, put the trolley on the zip line, and then transfer my harness from my lifeline to the trolley. But I didn't anticipate that this would be way too high over my head. I couldn't reach the brake, and also it got crazy. I started spinning like a top, and I was out of control, and it was very dangerous, and it was horrible. The second thing I didn't anticipate was over 230 yards of cable. You know, there's a mathematical formula on how much cable you need and the size of the cable and the slope, but there's nothing that tells you how much tension you have on it. I couldn't believe how far it dropped with just my weight. You can probably tell I'm not the biggest guy in the world, weigh about 150 pounds. That thing dropped. It went from about 25 feet in the middle to where I was only a few feet above the ground. And in fact, I smacked this old stump that, you know, was just 6 or 8 feet over the ground that I thought I would easily clear. Anyway, it was a disaster. I'm lucky I'm not hurt. Don't try that at home. Was it kind of fun? Yeah, it was kind of fun right up until the time my AR-15 fell to the earth and stuck barrel first in the ground. I'm gonna find taller trees. I've got to have more of a slope. That means I have to have a longer cable, and I've got to have much more tension, baby. So it's back to the drawing boards, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do it. But today I'm just lucky to be alive and be able to hunt deer here in the next couple of days. One thing I'll promise you, here at Bullshooters, we always do our own stunts.